Welcome to this episode of the ElectroNeek podcast, where we bring you the latest information in RPA and tell you how you can build, sell, and support your automation service business. So let's jump right into it. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being a part of this interview. Today we have Thiago from Protiviti. Yes. Well, I will go ahead and start answering some of these questions. So first is a background question. So please describe your responsibilities and job title and how long you've been with the company and what the company, how many team members are with the company as well.
Okay, so I joined Protiviti in 2010. So this year, 13 years with Protiviti. Right now, I'm an associate director for our business performance and innovation offering here in Brazil. So that means all the consulting services related to improvements and in our client processes to help our clients to achieve good results. And lately, since technology is involved in everything, so I came up with the innovation part as well. So most of the solutions that we help our clients to implement are related to new technologies. So with that, I'm responsible for RPA, process mining, IoT solutions as well. Did I miss any? So the number of people in my area, I have 15 people with me. And the company here in Brazil, we are around 500 people.
And how many locations do you have?
Here in Brazil, we have 4 offices, 2 in São Paulo, another one in Belo Horizonte, and in Rio de Janeiro.
How many developers or technical experts are in your company now?
RPA specific or developers?
RPA specific.
RPA specific, we now have 3 people and 1 contractor that sometimes join us.
And did you start your automation expertise with ElectroNeek? Was that your first automation offering? And if so, what RPA products did you work with before?
No, we started in 2018 with RPA with a local provider, but their solution was not very scalable because it was not a low-code solution. You needed to code all the automations. So we faced some difficulties with some clients to expand our scope of automation, especially after the pandemic that the dollar currency was very high. It started to become very difficult for some mid-sized companies to acquire those licenses. So we searched for new ways of providing RPA to our clients. That's when we found ElectroNeek.
Now, one thing you talked about was the company started around 2010 and then started getting to RPA around 2018.
Yeah.
What made that pivot? Like, what challenges did you face in the operations, or when you saw like, hey, this could be another opportunity to work? Well, like, what was your experience before working with ElectroNeek, and what's the difference between working with the team now?
So we always here in Brazil with Protiviti, we always agnostic. Not agnostic, like impartial with a solution provided. Like we mentioned to our clients, okay, you need to put some automation or need to implement a system here, but we never had the background of offering those solutions for our clients. We show them, you have these options on the market, so please go on and hire them, but we never used to provide that. So that changed after 2018, that we saw that we could also provide this kind of solutions to our clients. And we saw Protiviti outside Brazil already doing this kind of services. And we found it was interesting to do it here. So we saw the technologies that were being like Industry 4.0 technologies that were hot in that moment, and that's when we started to use RPA. So with ElectroNeek, we saw the possibility of offering it as a service solution, not selling just licenses, just development hours and things like that. For us, it's good because you keep the relationship with the client and you keep the revenues coming along the whole contract, not just one payment and goodbye client. And so that allowed us to change our business model and helped us to improve our solution.
Gotcha. So you're looking to change business model and make it a little bit better? Or what were some of the challenges to say, hey, we should start pivoting this way?
With many clients, potential clients that we discussed, they mention, oh, I really need automation, but I cannot afford it. I cannot invest that much money without showing my company results. So they're always, they saw value. They wanted to implement it, but they couldn't cross the initial line of starting. They always wanted the benefit before the paying for that. So that changed a lot, because when we say to the client, oh, you don't have to make a huge investment to start your automation journey. We can do it. And then you pay as you receive your benefit, as you see the benefit coming to you. So that's a very powerful speech and tool to make the clients just start on that journey.
Most definitely. And helping people start on that journey, in your journey with ElectroNeek, how do you find out about ElectroNeek? How do you find out about us?
LinkedIn first was a contact. So when he contacted me, I Googled ElectroNeek to understand a little bit how the solution worked. I saw a little bit of the model that you guys were offering. And so I scheduled a call to him to understand a little better. Then after that, he made available a license for us. Our technical team tested the solution, and they compared with the partners that we already had. And then they say, oh, it looked like a nice solution and they have a good business model. So that's when we decided to invest and to start a partnership with you guys.
And I know you mentioned that you're with other individuals. So what made you choose ElectroNeek? Was it just a licensing model?
The license made it possible for us to change our business model. The main thing was to offer our clients something different than just licenses and development hours, and to offer long-time partnership to help to make them happy, because they could make it viable to start an automation process, and for us also make a good relationship and an expanded relationship with our clients. But the licenses are the way we make it possible.
Right. That's a huge thing as we're talking to a lot. It's always the possibility for that. And now as we're making this, the new platform with the automation hub, the business hubs, and the service hubs, what are some of the main advantages ElectroNeek has over other providers right now that has helped you as an MSP build your RPA business?
One thing that is changing, but I thought it was interesting, is that we discussed with Anna last week about the lead center that helped us to see that some of the companies are already our clients and they're looking for RPA, and they were not looking with us. They were looking outside. So that is very interesting to see that they're looking for RPA. They're already our clients. So maybe we can join both things and help them out with that. And also this new version that became this year, I had a developer that I'm training her to be my right and left arm regarding sales. So I found interesting because this new version had a lot of content about sales, marketing that can help us for the marketing to get capacitated on doing that, and also helping our marketing team when they need to produce a content and things like that. They already have templates. They already have a guidebook of how to be doing that. So that's also very nice.
Right. Well, this next section is about ramping up. And so in ramping up, how long did it take you to get your first bot built with ElectroNeek?
After we acquired our first license.
Yes.
It was 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. Yeah. For our first bot to be running in one of our clients. We developed some demo bots, some internal things, not very not very complex, just to show potential clients. But the first bot that was running inside the client was 4 months after the first license.
And what type of functions did you automate?
That was what's the word in English for that? But you need to pay an invoice, and here in Brazil, you generate a banking document to collect that money. And this client has they are a pharmaceutical company that sells medicines for hospitals and a lot of clients. And so they invoice a lot, like more than 200,000 invoices a month. And sometimes some of their clients complain, I didn't receive the document to make the payment on the bank. Can you please send me again? So they have some people that just answer phones, see emails, just to provide them this document for payment. So now they have a portal where they request another payment document. Basically, the bot takes the number of the original invoice, goes into SAP, generates another document, and sends to the client. So with that, our client become more had their response much more quick. They can put that person that was dealing with that to do other functions that are more interesting than just pressing on OK on SAP and sending other invoices to their clients.
No, that's fantastic. And one of the things that, as we're hearing and talking to a lot of people, it's that invoicing automation process. It's kind of like their first bot that they build, and seeing that success and moving into different types of operations inside of teams or companies. Now, how many clients did you have before ElectroNeek, and then how many clients did you have now, like as you're growing and building out?
Yeah, we had clients that were, like I mentioned, coming and going, because when you sell a license, when you sell development hours, you just go do the job and come back home. And, pretty much that. So before that, we had like four or five clients that we sold licenses, did one development, and then didn't do anything else. Right now, we have 4 active clients that we are working with them on a daily basis. And also we are here in Brazil. Protiviti is part of a group of other companies. So we're also providing bots to the other companies of our group.
And how do you identify automation opportunities with your clients or internally?
Basically, from outside clients, they usually come, they already know RPA, or they want to automate something, and they came for us and say, oh, I have this process, or I have this idea, or I have this area that wants to be automated. How can you guys help us? And then we started to discuss the scope of automation. Well, our biggest client right now, he started with the idea of automating 14 processes, and they hired us to automate those 14 processes. But we started helping them to do an assessment to understand a little better if those processes were the right ones, if they could enjoy the benefit of automating those. And we discovered that most of them weren't prepared to be automated. They didn't have some standards. The process were very confusing, and so they needed to do a process improvement project before RPA. And it's good to see how they're getting more mature related to their processes and also to technology. And right now, the project is going much more smoothly, because they understand what they need to do before getting a bot into the process. And so usually it's like that they come with the need to try to understand it, to get deeper, and to help our client to make the right decisions, because we already been frustrated with some clients that, oh no, I want this process, and say, no, that's not the best one. We need to do something before we automate it, and then we put the automation, or they put by themselves, and see that didn't work out.
No, yeah, I have some follow-up questions on that. There's some really good points you just made. What industry was that company that had to do the process improvements?
That pharmaceutical company that I mentioned.
Gotcha. And then when you talk about process improvements, because I hear this often. It's like, let's automate everything, but you're like, hey, slow down. Here's some process improvements. So what is your recommendations for process improvements for a company? Like, hey, do these 5 things first, and then you're ready to do some automation. So what are those 3 to 5 things?
Well, we first have a methodology to assess the process and to identify main characteristics that make the process automatable. So firstly, we see if the rules are clear for the person that is executing them. So you need to ask the right questions, because sometimes people just do it because I do it, because somebody told me, and they don't make any idea why the process flowed that way. So you need to clear up for them, why are you doing that and not other thing, or not following the other path. So the first thing is to make it clear that all the rules, all the ways that the process can go. The other thing is to be clear about the exceptions that may happen, because many of the times you explain how the process works and it's the happy path and the happy way, but daily basis you have exceptions and you have things that make the process not running on the correct way. So you need to map all of those and see the impact of those exceptions on the process, because maybe your bot won't function 100% of the times, but if they work less than 50%, the bot will probably not deliver the benefit you expect. So you need to understand the impact of the exceptions and to see if they work, and try to minimize the exceptions, of course. The other thing that is critical is about the data. If it's a structured data, if you have manual inputs, if you depend on people that you cannot control, it gets tougher to automate. Like this client that I mentioned, this process to generate a new invoice, they accepted like mails from their customers requesting to the new invoice, but on the mail the people write as they wish. Don't have any format, any standard way to requesting it. So it was impossible for the bot to understand everything they mentioned. Sometimes the customer didn't mention the number of the invoice, that they didn't know they have an invoice to pay. So the first thing we need to make standard data collection points. Like in that case, they use the portal, the request portal, that the client open a ticket, and then the ticket you have like standard number of the invoice, name of the client, and things like that, so that the bot can run. So structured data is a critical factor to understand. And the other thing that's important to understand the benefits that the bot can generate. Is it hours that you're saving for your team? Is that errors that you can minimize inserting the bot in your company? Because after the automation, sometimes the clients don't see many benefits on the bot. Because what you're expecting? Did you did the business case? Did you understand the benefits that it could generate? Because after you build it, if the expectation in the beginning are different from what you see, you always get frustrated. So I think that's 4 things: to have clear rules about how the process is running, to make sure of the exceptions and how they impact, if the data you're using is structured, and to see if you know the benefit that the bot can generate after implementing.
And how do you track the utilization and performance of your automation bots?
We monitor, use the orchestrator to see if they have run its success. Some of the clients that are not very mature, we usually run the bot together with them sometimes, or we created a log Like for the clients that do not use the orchestrator, some of them are not orchestrated bots. So create a log or register of everything he done, so we can have a report to show to the client and say, oh, we ran successfully or we had a fail. So me that monitor orchestrator and have the reports in not orchestrated bots.
And has using the ElectroNeek platform helped you market more of your service offering to more people than you thought you could, because of making it more accessible to more small business owners?
Not only that, but I think it allowed to have more bots in some clients that in the beginning I saw that this client would just have 1 or 2 bots, and this one had 14. So I said, oh, that's many bots. I didn't imagine to have this many in this client. So not only open new clients, new markets, new sizes of companies, but also amplify the scope that we can automate.
Got it. Yeah, and now that's interesting when you talk about the new sizes of clients. So you're looking at, hey, what more things that we can do within your company, because we kind of have a proven track record of that. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have we can attend not only smaller business or smaller companies, but we were talking with companies that already use RPA for other platforms, but they achieved a level where investing in a new license or investing in more development hours doesn't pay the benefits of the bot. So they're looking for alternative solutions that allow them to keep automating other processes without having to invest in much more licenses. So areas that we usually do projects, but we didn't have much RPAs, like auditing, that is an area that's pretty much seen as a cost area, not a benefit area. Can also use bots in their routine and their daily processes, even though they're not the main area or the main area of the company, like sales, like areas like that.
And when you're moving forward with the implementation of the ElectroNeek platform, how has that been going for you?
Yeah, I think it was much easier than I thought, but we have some difficulties because right now, when we started, it was not possible to find ElectroNeek developers in the market because it was a new platform. But it was very easy for our developers to learn and to start developing on the ElectroNeek platform. Of course, when you're changing, when you're starting something new, you usually have some difficulties in the way. But their support, you support from your team. Last call we mentioned Daniel. He helped us a lot with our doubts or the difficulties that we find. And so we could pass. And right now, I think the team is very satisfied and is very confident on developing using the platform.
Wonderful. What success metrics do you find or do you develop with your clients? Yeah, is it how much time and effort did the bot save them, or what success metrics look like to you? Is there a standard, or is it different from every client?
They're different for every process, I would say, because as I mentioned in the beginning, you need to validate with the client. Oh, what's your what do you expect to gain automating this process? So, like this client that we have more bots and we have a structured project, they created a metric of saving hours that we need to achieve to make a process viable. So they do a study and they say, oh, this passes our rules. So let's start the automation. And after that, of course, they start to monitor if how many hours it's actually saving from the volume of voices, sales that the bot is processing, not human being. So we are measuring that. Another client is also another process. They are looking to reduce the time of reply for their potential customers, because it was a commercial process that they need to send a proposal. So they had a lot of internal steps of Excel spreadsheet filling, uploading that in the system. So they would take more time for sending the proposal for their clients. Sometimes they will lose the business because they took so much time on that. So right now they save like 75% of the time of sending a proposal for their clients. So that was very interesting for them also.
What industry is that?
It's also this pharmaceutical company.
Oh, so that's another bot for that.
Yeah. The most bots we are then. We also have one on the construction that we're discussing, amplifying the bot right now, that they're paying all of their suppliers with the bot from their administrative. But every building they're building, they have a lot of third-party companies that they pay. And so we're studying to have a bot for each building to make the payment for their third party as well. So with that, they expect to save most, like they wouldn't need to have people on their administrative payment side. It will be all done by bots. Only one person that may remain to handle exceptions and problems with their third party.
Well, that's that's one of your construction clients?
Construction, yeah.
So you're going to amplify what they're doing now and to do this new process. And so that's going to be great for them.
Yeah, because most of their administrative personnel handles their buildings, the payment of the vendors, the suppliers of the buildings, not just their administrative.
Ooh, got it. So that is almost two case studies that you have. Like the pharmaceutical one, the construction one is great as well. Now, how do they feel like before and after the project?
Well, like every project, some things doesn't go according to the plan, and some things goes. But most of them, they were happy that they expected a little bit more in the beginning, since we have difficulties on the development, not for our side, because we need to ask them, oh, you need to change your process this way. You need to input, you need to have a new field. You need to change your spreadsheet for the bot. So we requested a lot of services from them to automate, because it's normal. Like we could stop the bot and make the process smooth and then start the bot. But no, let's do it. So we're correcting the process along the way. So during the process, we had a little friction with it. But after they saw, oh, that's a relief. I don't have to do this process anymore. I don't have to be worried about that. And this client from the pharmaceutical sector, he said, "Oh, we reduce a lot of time to answer our clients. That's a very good thing, and saving hour from our personnel as well. So it was very very good. So they are very happy right now." Because they saw the benefits that the bot brought them.
Gotcha. And your construction client, how are they feeling?
Yeah, they are excited since they are planning to expand the use of the bot, but it was more difficult for them because they use a system that's very difficult. It's very how can I say? It's not very friendly. Not even for the bot to access. So I have a little friction, but right now that we solved it, it become much more easy to expand the usage of the bot.
Perfect. And from your vantage point, what are some of the advantages ElectroNeek has over other providers?
The business model, of course, it was made us get here. But I think all the support you guys provide for our technical team helped a lot from our side to develop the bots, to develop our team, to find new ways of doing things. So he's always available. That's a very good thing. Also, your marketing support. When our marketing had some doubts how to improve our content, he helped us, showed some, oh, you can do that, this, that. So it was very nice. So I think apart the business model, I think like the partnership you guys show, like having this conversation that we're having today, this exposure, I think it's very interesting for both sides, for our side to access your knowledge and for your side also from getting like our cases, what we're doing and showing for other people. That's actually, I think it's a good partnership that I didn't have for other partners.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Now, this next question is about thought leadership. So we like to say like, hey, the folks who work with us at ElectroNeek, we're thinking in the future. So I want to tap your brain about the future and tell me what kind of process automations will be the most demand in the next 2 to 3 years from your point of view?
Well, I think since we're opening a new market, like for small and medium business, there are a lot of processes from specific companies that are not very big, but they're the similar. Here in Brazil, we have a lot of small accounting companies that had a lot of invoice processing, like getting taxes paid from the government, filling up a lot of government papers, like social that Ana probably knows as well. You guys that doesn't know. So this is small companies, the small accounting companies, we have thousands of those because Brazil, it's a tax insane country. And they all do a very massive work, a very manual work of filling documents, filling forms for the government, paying taxes. And I think that's a very good window of opportunity with this business model to get to those to get those companies and helping them to get automated. Also, like construction, this case that we're seeing our clients, all of mid-sized constructing companies that we have all over Brazil, they all do the same thing that this company does and probably use the same system. So I think it's also a good market and new possibility for to do the same bot in this kind of companies. So yeah, I think just to mention too, have a lot of other possibilities. But I think the small companies with the same processes that do the same thing all over the country, all over Brazil, I think they'll pretty much enjoy automation the next years with this new model that they offer them.
What recommendations would you give like first-time IT or providers or companies that want to build a successful RPA business?
Well, I think you need to listen your client needs, but you also need to explain a lot of about automation for them, because you need to let it very clear what automation can do for them and what it cannot do, and the benefits it can bring, because usually the clients think, oh, what can solve my life? They think it's just pressing 2 buttons and the bot is ready to go, and they'll see the benefit next day and say, oh, that's very nice. So go easy, listen to your client, but say the right things, explain them the difficulties you find, but also the benefits after the journey is completed that they can achieve.
Yeah. Last question for me. Are there any specific features of an RPA business that are important to consider for IT entrepreneurs when they're launching their RPA business?
Any features from the platform?
Yes.
Well, one thing that I'm pretty excited to know you guys are launching is OCR. because we still have a lot of documents and pictures that we need to get data from to do some specific kinds of automation, like processing invoices, getting information from contracts. And also this same OCR can be used for screen from some applications that the bot doesn't go very well, doesn't interact very well. So I think it's a feature, not just the OCR itself, but the intelligent OCR will be a feature very important to expand our scope of automation and to help us to automate things that we cannot do today.
Got it. So that intelligent document processing is going to be very important for you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks, Thiago, for this conversation. And thanks to everyone for joining. Thank you for listening to this episode of the ElectroNeek podcast.